Welcome to Therapy Unlocked, where we discuss all things therapy from an unlocked perspective. I'm Emily Huffman, and I'm here with Katrina.
Hello, Katrina Mondragon, licensed professional counselor. All right, so like I said, I am a professional, but not your professional, so nothing we're going to talk about today should be taken as medical, legal, or otherwise advice. This podcast is purely for education and amusement. That is it. That's the disclaimer.
Education, amusement, and because I would like to be famous. So please like, subscribe, follow, engage, hate on us, join the conversation. Find us on YouTube, find us on Instagram, find us anywhere where you listen to podcasts, because I love a creeper and I love a hater and I love a lover. So if you like the podcast, if you dislike the podcast, I'd like to hear from you. Welcome back to a very special edition of Therapy Unlocked, where I am painted up like a spooky, ooky skeleton. So you probably could go check out the video if you're listening.
Hello.
Hello. We are Therapy Unlocked. We're here to unlock the mind one conversation at a time. My name is Final Girl M, and I am joined by my very qualified co-host, Katrina and Mondragon.
Oh, she doesn't normally say my middle name. It's just Katrina Mondragon. My supposed right now. Mental health counselor.
That's true. I guess I don't. But I read it often. I don't know.
Now, if y'all listen to the whole thing, you'll know my middle name now. So,
did you know that Anne is like the most common middle name for women?
It was Marie.
I feel like most women are Anne, Marie, or Elizabeth.
Oh, I would have guessed Lynn.
Lynn. Interesting. I do not know if Lynn is up there or not. I'm trying to think if I know anyone. I don't think I know any Lynn's. I definitely know Anne's, Marie's, and Elizabeth's. I almost did Elizabeth for my child, but that was based on a relative. So what I wanted to talk to you about today, Therapy Unlocked, Katrina, is compassion fatigue for current events.
Like how it's a privilege to unplug.
It is absolutely a privilege to unplug. And also a necessity to avoid, in my opinion, compassion fatigue. If you do not take a break from the continual onslaught of bad information, then you will get burned out, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. I think there's no way.
But I think there is a difference, though, between taking a break from social media and the privilege of checking out and putting your head in the sand. Because just because you're not on social media consuming it 24/7 doesn't mean you're unaware, uninformed. I think Dolly Parton has a song where she says "world on fire," and she says she may not talk about it a lot, but she's still aware of what's going on.
Well, and here's another take on that. You said social media or no social media. Let's say, okay, so I'm thinking of I personally am too not a huge fan of the people who are like, oh, I don't get involved in politics. It's not politics. This is we've moved past that, I think, as a people here in America. But there is another level to that where people are currently going after Taylor Swift because they feel she has not said enough.
And I've heard that her new album is like her trad wife era.
Oh, about that new album. Oh my goodness. I've heard even worse things about that new album. I'm not sure if I agree with them or not, because I have not given it a whole listen, because it isn't very good. Or at least in my opinion, it isn't very good. And Taylor Swift usually doesn't miss, but everybody's entitled to a flop now and then. Now there's a couple songs on there that are catchy. They've got a good beat, but I
liked Honey.
I didn't even hear that one. Didn't even hear it. I stopped around Wood, which is about Travis Kelce's member.
Yeah, and she said that started off innocent and it just didn't end that way.
It was bizarre. There are people who think she is dog whistling in Opalite.
She says that one was about her being in her, like, if you've ever seen Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, I know, her happy place. Yeah. But I found some observations that I've seen on social media to be just compelling enough to shed some doubt on her for me, right? But that may be where I'm coming from with this, is the only thing I think that led to people issuing critiques of her in that way, because a year ago, 3 years ago, you could not touch Taylor Swift. I think the reason people are issuing critiques of her now is primarily because she has stayed out of current affairs in a large capacity, especially within the last year or so. And so there's a lot of anger towards her from marginalized groups, from people who are struggling, and from non-marginalized groups just saying, hey, why aren't you using your massive platform to influence more good? Also, there is the fact that she is quite literally a billionaire. And ethically, it doesn't make a lot of sense for her to have released 7 formats of her album with $5 a piece voice notes.
She's a capitalist and always has been.
But she doesn't always espouse those ideals.
The capitalist ideals? I don't think that's accurate.
No, if you see
does like an album and then she'll do like 2 songs on this record.
No,
2
not
songs on this record. That's very capitalistic.
Oh, no. What she does absolutely espouses that, sister. I mean, that her perceived social opinion of being accessible, being an every girl.
She's not down to earth. Is that what you're trying to say?
She will try to come off
down
that way.
to earth at all.
She does present that as a forward-facing
Never thought
persona.
that about her.
It's if
you see her as a 14-year-old on Good Morning America saying she's going to be a star. That's not down to earth at all.
No, I agree with you. But I'm talking about, I've consumed a lot of Taylor media at this point. I have a child that's a huge fan. So, there's also there's a fan theory that she was the original author of a Harry Potter fan fiction way back in the days when they were still releasing Harry Potter books.
Wow. She could have had a Tumblr. We don't know.
She could have. She probably still does. I hear she's chronically online, such as myself. But that said, to circle this back to my original question about compassion fatigue. From a PR perspective, I can think of many ways she could have subverted this disaster, such as just listening to feedback on the lyrics before she released the album, because she released the voice notes where she was receiving feedback that she did not take.
That was not a good one.
Oh, that was not very good. No, I did not care for that.
I didn't like the one where it was in the friendship or something. It was something about she didn't kiss the guy and then the guy died and she should have kissed the guy and ended the friendship.
Yeah, so that was about, that was about somebody who passed away that she really knew. And she sang more than one song for him at this point in time, as whatever. That's really all I know about it. It's just that it was about someone she knew, and she's now done more than one on this particular person. Okay, I'm going to start adding some neons and stuff.
Is it going to glow?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I will glow under it'll look good under a black light. It's not that white anymore. I got her earlier. No, I'm going to do I think I'm going to start with this silvery color. That'll make it more glowy. Do some highlights with this. And then that's a bunch of bright colors that I'm going to use with these. I don't think I'm going to use these paints to do that's my Lisa Frank palette. I don't think I'm going to use the paints for the neon colors because my skeleton has a lot of neon highlights on it. But that's it. This ties in. I am doing 31 costumes in 31 days for the month of October for Halloween. I am also doing this because things have gotten a little too serious in my head.
That's where the mindfulness thing comes in, finding fun in the moment.
Now, there was a day recently where my water got cut off. My company had not paid me on payday. My medication was declined. And by all accounts and regards, that was pretty upsetting of a day. So I did dress up like a ghost, and my son and I went out front and we did some dancing. And that's what I posted on social media. So if someone were to be looking from the outside in, they would say, oh, she hasn't a care in the world, right? that perception has been contorted and controlled in that situation. But I have many cares, so many cares, too many cares, right? Too many personal cares. And then take it out even bigger. Why do I even have these personal cares? We're in a civil war. You know, I'm so desperately concerned about all of these things. But my coping mechanism, my weird coping mechanism, we have an episode about that, has been doing this costume challenge. Right.
Speaking of weird coping mechanisms, I'm a reader, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that I've been reading is a dystopian, it's like a dystopian future one. And I'll just show my phone. It's The Divided States Line in the Sand. It's by Brian Doan. And it's basically taking place in 2048 or 2050. Between 2043 and 2046, it says the United States experienced sustained political polarization, civil unrest, regional economic collapse, and an explosive rise of the extremist paramilitary activity. And then he goes into in depth as if a sci-fi dystopian secession of the South, where this whole red line gets drawn. It sort of think Mason-Dixon line, but redrawn.
Okay.
For modern day turmoil. And it is.
And this is fiction?
It is fiction, yeah. It's set in the future. I would be 65 years old or 60 years old, something like that. Okay. And basically it goes into this guy's story, and I'm on chapter 7 on the phone, but then I got the hard copy book. I'm on chapter 2 or 3. Or not hard copy. I have the paper copy. There's a paperback book, and I think he's got a hard copy coming out. But this just came out on the 10th. And I have been knowing this person. So I got the behind the scenes information that it was coming out. And so as soon as it came out, I purchased it. And that's been my interest as far as it's a way to engage without being all consumed, if that makes sense.
No, it does. Because that's kind of my point. A little bit is, there's ways to avoid it. I'm not saying you have to paint your face and go concern your neighbors, but what ways? What are the ways? Why do we feel this way at this time? We cannot have any fun.
Oh, that's
or others cannot have any fun.
That's called comparative suffering, not compassion fatigue.
But comparative suffering. I didn't even know that term. Okay, well, I'm saying I feel like people are getting compassion fatigue or wanting to avoid it, and so they're still seeking out and maybe even being sillier than usual.
It went through. Well, have you heard about the eating pudding with spoons in Germany? In Germany, they're eating pudding with spoons in parks. This is what we've come to: is eating pudding with forks. That's what it is. It's eating pudding with forks in the park. And I forget what it is in German, but it's pudding with forks. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, that makes perfect sense just without much explanation at all, doesn't it? In Germany, they're eating pudding with forks. In America, we're eating pudding with forks, too. And in a significant way with our shutdown. Hopefully, by the time this comes out, government's not shut down anymore, la, la, la. But I was told today, I don't know if you've experienced this, that I cannot have my telehealth appointment because the government is shut down.
From your therapy?
No, for my narcolepsy doctor.
Oh.
No telehealth appointment while the government is shut down.
Wow.
That's what I was told. I don't understand why.
That kind of tracks, because one of the things that I heard is that CMS is denying telehealth, and they're basically saying everything has to be in person until the government reopens.
That's what they said to me. Yeah. Why is that?
That's not just for that. That's for therapy too.
Really?
Yeah.
So you are having to have all...
Well, no, I don't work for Medicare or Medicaid.
Ah, that tracks. That makes sense. That makes so much sense.
But yeah.
Interesting.
That's one of the consequences of the government shutdown, is that people are being forced to go into the office and not stay in the comfort of their own home for their telehealth appointments.
Well, and for some people who experience disabilities, that is a really serious consequence.
Or who have transportation difficulties. What if you can't get transportation?
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well, and not only that, but it's getting more difficult to get in touch with people if you have Medicare or Medicaid or anything along those lines, because of the government shutdown, because people are not getting paid. It is getting more difficult to get in touch with people. And you can't arrange a sooner ride or something like that to get you where you need to be.
There is a program for electricity called LIHEAP that I heard if you go down and put your application in person that they might help.
No, I'm going to go ahead and say the thing that nobody else will say and that you are probably not even allowed to say. I don't know. It's fake. These programs are not real. The assistance is not there. It is not available. If you have it in your head that whoever is living off the government, you are wrong and they are not. Okay? I personally was in all of the circumstances to apply for LIHEAP. I spoke to them day of. I submitted everything day of. Before the application was even done, it was denied. There is no assistance. And not only that, when you get someone on the phone to talk about it, they'll be like, well, it's really just open for 1 day a year. They do not publicize the date that it will be open. You just have to check the website every day. And you can only apply while that red link is available on the website. Well, on that day, because I did know that it was happening on that day, I had spoken to someone the day before. On that day, I updated that thing 1,000,000 times and never got that red link. Never received that red link.
Going in person.
Oh, I did. That's how I put my application in. But it wasn't even submitted before I was informed that it was closed.
Wow.
There's no assistance out there for you in that area from the United States government. Maybe there once was, but
would it be maybe state
I
to
don't
state?
believe
Is
it.
that a state program?
Probably. Yes. No, it is absolutely a state program. I'm saying in Oklahoma, don't bank on that. Don't think you can get that. Don't think you can get that help. My divorce went through that. We were without any resources or anything else. And we're coming up on, actually, what day is it?
It is October 16th.
Tomorrow I will have been divorced for a year.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I am very happy about it. But that said, tomorrow I will have been divorced for a year. And I do not think that either time there was anything available to me for assistance with anything other than food. You can get childcare assistance. The rub of childcare assistance is that you can only get childcare assistance if you can pay for your first bit of time your child is in childcare.
Right.
You cannot get it otherwise. Okay, well, most people in need of childcare assistance do not have the money or credit to do that. Not an option. And I'm not speaking on personal experience on that one, but I am saying there's very little help out there for people who need it. There should be more. There isn't. And it's aggravating. It's frustrating. Now I would recommend anybody in that situation or in those shoes take a moment to think about what they're already capable of, because that's what I had to do. And I had to just get creative and problem solve and
what do they
work
say?
on
Necessity is the mother of...
Necessity is the mother of invention. Absolutely. In every way, shape, and form. I don't have much better advice than that because I'm still dealing with it. But it's not there. LIHEAP's not there. It's not, at least not in Oklahoma, not on a regular or standardized basis, and it's not easily accessible.
None of them are easily accessible.
No, help should be accessible.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Why not?
Easily accessible would mean that it would be easily taken advantage of.
Why?
If it's easily accessible?
Why do we care if somebody takes advantage of it?
Then there would be less help. You don't care if somebody's taking advantage?
I mean, why are they in the circumstances? Why would we punish the majority of people for the smallest section of people? Because if you look at the numbers, the people who take advantage of that stuff.
I didn't think of it as a punishment to jump through the hoops to get the help.
Oh, it's a punishment. It's a punishment, and it sets at a disadvantage people who don't have internet, don't have income, don't have transportation, don't have the ability
to be connected to the internet in the way that they are now. There should be paper applications.
Yeah, you have to.
No, there should be paper application. There should be people on the other side of the telephone, not a robot.
Oh, and they should answer the telephone.
And they should answer the telephone.
Yeah, but they really don't.
Yeah, the system is broken in that way.
It is. It's deeply flawed and deeply broken.
So I don't think that there should be no hoops.
No,
but
I'm not saying
that there should be electronic hoops.
Hoops are fine, I suppose. I mean, you should have to prove your situation.
Like your income verification, but like I don't think that you should have to have your work verifications in the way that they have them right now. Right now, they have them in such a way that if you have ever worked somewhere within the last year, you have to get termination verification, which means doing the walk of shame back to that job and saying, may I please have a letter from the manager?
Proof that you fired me?
Or no, proof that I don't work here anymore. That's
oh
what
my
it is.
God.
Is may I please have a verification letter that I don't work here anymore? And of course, they're gonna know why.
Right.
So it's really frustrating to put people in that position to have excessive amounts of verifications.
Right. No, excessive amounts of verifications, yes, I have had to deal with. The experience of that I have not had to deal with at this point in time. But I would say that what is the biggest blockade for the assistance is, I mean, actually, I want to go back. I want to go back to what you said. It should be easily accessible because enough people need it. It should be easy to get it. Sure, you should have to prove whatever it is, but a requirement for proof is not what makes it have less accessibility. What makes it have less accessibility is how convoluted and bureaucratic they make the process, how difficult.
That's where the bullshit lies, is in the bureaucracy.
In the bureaucracy and in the dishonesty, honestly, because, you know, you were under the impression that LIHEAP is an organization that people can go apply for. Sure. One day a year, if they have inside information or are incredibly lucky and happen to be online during the 30-minute time period that the application will be open.
Which means it's a self-education process.
Which means it's impossible.
Yeah.
It means it's impossible. It means that, I don't know the exact numbers on how much LIHEAP they've doled out, but I would bet it's not as many people as need utility assistance.
Accurate. A lot of people go without utilities. I don't know if you know that.
No, I do.
A lot of people have to choose between their water or their lights.
Or their medication or
their medications or their groceries.
Yeah.
That's kind of where a lot of
people are.
Do you
want to eat or take medicine? Do you want to? Yeah. No, you are so correct on that. And that's maybe what my point is we have made a fatal mistake in worrying about fraud. And in worrying about fraud, we take away school lunches from children. I mean, I'm just talking about America as a whole. In worrying about a section of criminals, rather than improving the process in catching the criminals, in worrying about the fact they could possibly exist. We haven't even verified their existence. They could exist. So we better make sure that, you know, the single mother who left an abusive relationship and is staying in a shelter has to submit 4 forms of documentation for every individual in their house.
I think if somebody says they're not working, that should be enough in their bank statement to say, look, I have no money, I'm not working.
A bank statement's pretty, pretty finite. A tax return. I mean, there's lots of ways to get people to prove their income, but it is, honestly, I could care less whether they are a legal citizen or not. What's your income?
Could you make me look like that witch in Wicked?
Elphaba? Green?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, I can absolutely make it green.
I was just thinking my hair is already green. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Her makeup is almost done, so we're done. We're out. Later.
Stay tuned.